Hey there, it's Jenny from Southern Savers. Glad to have you guys join me tonight. We are gonna chat whatever your questions are, because that's the joys of a live Q&A. But we always start with a topic too. So our topic tonight is cutting your monthly bill costs. And I've been doing a lot of posts on this over the last couple of weeks too. So if you want more like details on specific things, head to southernsavers.com and type on the frugal, or click on the frugal living category at the top, and you'll kind of see some of the past posts that we've done. But we're going to go through kind of each bill and some quick ways that I would recommend trying to cut the costs of these monthly bills as much as you can. And we'll also go everywhere your questions are as well. I know there are already a couple that are in the chat window. If you're just joining us for the first time, or you're watching this on Google Hangouts, you need to click through the link that is at the bottom of the Google Hangout so that you can join the chat room to be able to ask questions. If you're just joining the first time, you'll see an orange plus sign button down at the bottom of the chat window. You click on that and you type in whatever you'd like, and I'll see it and everyone else will see it. And that's how I'll be able to answer your questions, and other folks will answer them too, sometimes before I even get there. So ask away, and we'll kind of take a pause and get to everyone else's questions. It's nice to have a topic, though, to get us started while folks are entering questions versus me just sitting here and looking at you. Gives us something to do while folks are typing. So to get us started, I thought we would start with the biggest one first, and that's electricity. Electricity, for those of us in the South anyway, can be killer in the summer. Not so bad in the winter, but then that summer bill ends up really just destroying your entire budget all the way around. So the first thing that I would highly recommend is getting yourself set up for budget billing. This is where they take the average of all of your payments for the last year, and you pay the same amount every month. Now, if I kill that amount, let's say that I pay $100 a month, and then this July my bill's $200, I'm going to have to make up for that in my next year average. So they're not going to just like eat the $100. It's really you just handling all of that average across the board, and then it works out in the end. Because remember, in the winter, it might be less than that, and the goal is that it all comes out to be even in the end. If not, next year, your budget billing just got increased. You can do budget billing with most electricity companies, and also ask your water company if they allow budget billing as well. It depends on who your water is running through, obviously, but most electricity companies definitely offer it, and it's going to save you a lot in those crisis moments, in those we can't pay other bills because the electricity bill just had us all have a heart attack the minute that we open the envelope. We're not going to have that. We might deal with it next year as that budget billing increases next year, but hopefully we can maybe fine tune some things and be able to stay on average and not have a problem. Another thing to check with your electricity company is whether or not they do free walkthroughs. A lot of electricity companies do this. They even work with subcontractors. So some of them, it's that they kind of farm it out, and they have someone come to your house and do an evaluation. It's usually free, and they'll give you tips of things that they would recommend that you upgrade, or quick things even that you can do around your house to try to cut your electricity bill. Obviously, insulating everything under the sun. And if you have a house in the winter that is just leaking hot air like a sieve, maybe even going and getting not only the extra weather stripping to put around your windows, but possibly even doing the film over your windows for the winter that you use with a hair dryer. It seals over the window and gives it a whole nother protection level of sealing all those holes for the air to not flow through. But they're going to give you those tips. So always checking with your electricity company, seeing if they do those energy-wise walkthroughs is what a lot of them would call that in their offerings. And one other thing to check out, this is if you have some extra money, obviously, but a lot of companies also offer rebates off of your future bills for upgrades that you do around the house. Like, for instance, we have South Carolina Electric and Gas where we live, and SCE&G offers rebates if you make energy conscious upgrades in your home to electric water heaters, even your light bulbs. You can get a rebate off of your next electricity bill for buying LED light bulbs. Makes it a moneymaker when you find those light bulbs on sale, and then turns out I can get a $10 rebate off of my next electricity bill just by submitting a receipt to the electricity company. I found an LED light bulbs on clearance in Bilo 2 weeks ago for $5 a piece. So you can see how that would work out in the end. You have to do your homework though to find these things. They're not going to mail them out to you. They won't be in your monthly statement. I need to head to their website. You can also head, let me make sure I give you the right address. I'm pretty sure it's energy.gov. Yes, head to energy.gov. It's the Department of Energy. And then you can click on the very top of their site and you'll see something that says savings and rebates. And click on savings and rebates. You'll be able to sort by state and find all of the things that are available in your state. And I will try to just put that straight in chat if I can find the state options. But you want to see what's out there because you'll be surprised what is. For instance, another one, it's actually in the drop down right below it. The blue header is not clickable, but it's in the drop down right below the blue header. So here it is, just in case you didn't follow, energy.gov. And head there, see what's available in your state. You might be surprised. Another one for South Carolina. I don't have this kind of money, but we're going to get the free evaluation and find out how much it would be anyway, just to, I don't know, curiosity killed the cat kind of thing. But in South Carolina right now, they're offering 55% back in tax refunds and rebates to put solar panels on your house. Well, I'm just kind of curious how much that would cost. I don't think we're going to do it, but you might as well check into it if you had that extra bit of money. The other thing that's being offered is if you could get surplus energy, you can sell that back to the electricity company. So now I don't pay an electricity bill, I make money. How awesome would that be? Obviously, there's some required money down to do that. So I'm not, saying let's all go put solar panels on our house. We'd have to have money to be able to do that. But at least look into what's available, whether it's a new water heater or something small that you already needed anyway, and I can get some discounts to do it, then let's see how that can definitely affect the budget overall. Let's talk cable next. Danny's already saying, we cut Dish off and got an outside antenna. We have Amazon Prime when they ran the deal last year. You've saved over $1,000 this year just by cutting cable. That's massive. And that, Danny, to me is the first thing I tell folks. If you can't afford to eat, if you're having problems paying the other bills, cable is not a necessity. It doesn't keep you warm. It doesn't keep you fed. It doesn't keep you clothed. It has to go. And it's really hard for some people, but it has to go. And honestly, I don't think there's any reason to not cut it at this point. And if you haven't heard of Sling, Sling is the thing that I have been, in a sense, raving about, trying to tell folks about, because Sling is the answer to everyone's, I'm going to miss this channel or that channel. There are really only so many channels that most of us love. But if you're addicted to, let's see, my husband printed it out so I could have it all. Food Network, Home and Garden, the Travel Channel, ESPN, ESPN2, TNT, all of these, let's see, and help folks out that can't see things tonight. All of these channels that you love, Sling is $20 a month. There's no tax. It's $20 versus the hundreds of some direct TVs and cables, depending on the package you get. And right now, another link I'm going to put into chat, there is a promotion running at Best Buy that if you sign up for 3 months of Sling, which is $60 for 3 months of Sling, they will give you a $50 Best Buy coupon to use on any streaming device. So if you click on that Best Buy link that I just put into the chat window, you'll see the deal running between Best Buy and Sling. So I can use that $50 Best Buy coupon, that this is the purpose, to then buy a streaming device, because to use Sling, or Netflix or Amazon Prime Video, any of those, I have to have some kind of streaming device. Odds are your TV isn't brilliant. Some of us have brilliant TVs. I don't. Your Blu-ray or DVD player may also be really smart and be able to do it all by itself. Again, not all of us do. So we're going to need a Roku. We're going to need a Chromecast, an Amazon Fire Stick. There's lots of options. But if you get 3 months worth of Sling and you go through the link I put in, because you have to go through Best Buy first, but you get 3 months worth of Sling, that's $60. They give you $50 to then use at Best Buy to buy a streaming device, which will make a number of them free. It makes the Chromecast free. It makes an Amazon Fire Stick free. It makes a Roku over half off. I would push you to the Roku. The Roku's got more memory. It's going to be able to stream more. We have pretty slow internet, but I can still stream a lot on our Roku because it has some buffering memory built in, where the Chromecast and the Amazon Fire Stick don't have that. So you'd need faster internet to run on just a stick. Now, why do I push this? It's for the folks that can't let go of the channels that you're so used to. I don't know that you have to have it, but if you like to watch sports, this gets you all the ESPNs, gets you ESPN, ESPN2, and access to ESPN3 online. You can pay $5 more a month and have access to ESPN News, ESPNU, the SEC network. I know that's probably huge for some of you guys. Sorry, I am ACC. There's a long list, but it's all on Sling's website, so you can see what the cost would be for you based on the channels that you're wanting. But it's a pretty huge savings over the cost of normal cable or DirecTV or Dish Network, and there's no contract, so it's month by month. If you wanted to increase your sports offerings, the extra $5 for SEC and whatnot during football season, you could, and then you could cancel it as soon as the national championship was over and you didn't need it anymore. Whatever you wanted to do, but we definitely want to cut it. If you can't cut it, you just can't handle that, you need all of your cable channels, at least renegotiate cable every single year. Calling around, making sure, do I have the best offer that is available, and even telling them that, I've been with you for 5 years. This price keeps going up. I would like to make sure that I have the best offer available. Are you running any promotions? Are you running any incentives? Get what they tell you, write it down, and then call the competitors and find out what they're offering as well. If the competitor is offering something better, you call back. And this is the same way to negotiate your cell phone bill as well. So I've found out what my plan is offering or my company is offering, and then I call the competitor. I find out, they're offering a deal for new clients and it's $10 cheaper than my current company. Then I call my current company back. And I say, you know what, I love your service. I have no complaints with your service, but I can save $10 more a month with AT&T versus paying for Time Warner. Time Warner will make the change. And if the person on the phone tells you that they can't, then you say, well, can I speak with a manager, please, who has the ability to make those changes? And if you don't get the answer you want, I would encourage you to stand firm and be willing to actually go to the cancellation. Say, okay, well, I'm ready to cancel. Will you send me to that department? They usually have final say to give you a whole nother incentive and a whole nother deal. But you got to stand firm, because once you get to that department, you're going to look kind of silly if you don't follow through. But that would be one way to try to renegotiate the cable bill. Don't fall prey to bundle deals. That's a big one that I get so many people every time I write a post about cutting cable or saving on entertainment. So many people will tell me, but I have to have this to get my internet, or it's the same cost whether I have the cable or I don't have the cable, so I might as well keep it. It's a lie. Do not fall prey to the lie. You do not need to bundle any services at all. Ask them specifically for the items that you want. Ask them for their best prices on the items that you want, and then call around as well and ask for the best prices. It shouldn't cost you a ton to be able to get just internet. And then be careful on it's only going to cost $5 more to add on cable, or whatever the incentive is that they throw in, because it's not only going to cost $5 more to add on cable. Adding on cable adds on more taxes along with that are half the time more than the $5 that you just paid for the cable. So we have to factor in all kinds of things. They can't control the taxes. They cannot decrease that. So you just need to, be a little more like thinking through all sides of things before you just dive in on the $5 savings of tacking on something else, because when that promotion ends, it's going to get really expensive really fast. So bundles are not always a savings. This isn't a buy in bulk meat sale. This is their way of tacking on little tiny bits at a time, and it's a huge marketing gimmick for them all the way around. Internet, I would encourage you with internet to only pay for what you need. So they're going to try to talk you into a faster internet, faster downloads, faster uploads. They're going to give you all these numbers, and you're really not going to know what to do with them. Believe me, it's faster than we have out at our house in the boonies. So most families are going to be just fine with traditional speed internet, and paying the upgrade to have super fast Roadrunner or whatever they're offering at the time is really, again, it's just an upgrade. It's not going to be that much of a difference. So I would recommend, if you don't know where to go and you're just, I'm baffled, but fast internet sounds wonderful, I would still encourage you to start at the lowest level. Let's see if it works. Odds are you're going to be fine streaming. You're going to be fine doing everything that you need to do. And then if you're not, bump it up. But don't start off paying for something that you don't need, because most of us, we don't need the crazy fast upgrades that they're telling you you're going to get. You're going to be just fine with the basic level. And you're going to save a chunk to do that. Let's see, and make sure I'm not missing anyone's questions as we go through. Okay, we have one question that's not on bills, so we'll get to yours, I promise, Michelle. Last bill that I was going to definitely hit on, but we can go to any others that y'all want to point out, is cell phones. The cell phones are changing massively this year. We've seen every single company this year drop contracts. Verizon just announced 2 weeks ago, no more contracts for Verizon either. So this is going to change kind of the playing field of how we're used to dealing with cell phones, and all of the ways and the lingo really about those deals. So the first big change is to get ready to just be used to paying for your own phone. There won't be any more automatic upgrades and new 2-year contracts because of your upgrade. You're going to pay out of pocket for your phone. So you need to get creative as to how you get them. My husband has been paying out of pocket for his phones, I don't even know how long, because he has an old grandfathered in plan. And I'm not going to tell you which company because I don't want anyone to come and take it away from him. It's very, very nice. But he has unlimited data. It does exist. There are some like unicorns left in the world. But because he has unlimited data, he could never upgrade, or he would have lost it with a new 2-year contract. So we've been paying out of pocket for his phones every time he feels that he needs an upgrade. The number one way that we've done that is Craigslist or eBay, getting unlocked phones. So I don't have to go through Verizon or AT&T to buy a new phone. You're going to pay out the nose to buy it directly from the phone company. That's what they want you to do. They're making a ton off of selling equipment, and then all the little stuff that they try to sell you with it. Oh, you need this and you need this too. No, you don't. So hop online and let's see where the best prices are to get phones. You can also find some deals in Target with gift cards if you wait for whatever phone it is that you're looking for. Right now it's iPhones and Samsung are the 2 big brands that we're seeing, obviously, and Target's kind of alternating every other week between which brand they are giving a $100 gift card to with new plans. I have to pay for the phone, but I get a gift card with it. And it could be the best deal. You just need to do some hunting to make sure that it is. And don't forget about used options as well. With phones, just to throw this out there too, anyone that still has an iPhone 4, iPhone 4s are no longer able to upgrade to the newest iOS version of iPhones. And your phone still works. You can still make phone calls. You can still get texts. Still get on the internet. It's an iPhone 4. It still feels new. Downside, if you cannot get the latest iOS update, you will not be able to run a number of apps that are out there. App developers are required to always write their apps on the latest X code that Apple releases. So the Southern Savers app required any kind of, if we want to release an update, it has to be in the newest level code. So for instance, if you have an iPhone 4, you can't run the Southern Savers app. And we're just a free little app. We're not anything super fancy, though I'm proud of it. But just to give you that example, so be ready for that. That's how they're going to get you. You're going to think, well, I don't need an upgrade. My phone's working just fine. But as your phone ages, it's not working just fine. Eventually, it will age out to where they no longer support it. Anyone that has a traditional iPad, we dealt with this recently. We needed to get a new app to run a photo booth on an iPad. The upgrade required the latest iOS. And if you have a first generation iPad, they can't get the latest iOS anymore. So now I have this very large paperweight. It can surf the internet. It's a very large flat internet surfing device. That's all that it can basically do now. We can read our Bible on it in church too. That's about it. It's pretty limited. But just so you kind of get that this does happen. I don't want you to live in this, well, I have a good phone, I'm never getting an upgrade. You are. Eventually, at some point, you're going to get very frustrated at the things your phone can no longer do, and you're going to want it. So hunting around, and don't go straight to the phone company. If you do have a phone company you love, now you have no contract, so you don't have to stick with anybody. But I would encourage you, even tomorrow, to hop on the phone and call your phone company and make sure that you have all of the latest bells and whistles that are being offered for your current payment level. For instance, if you call Verizon, I am not on my husband's plan. I have my own little plan because that would have ruined his grandfathered in plan. And if I were to call Verizon and say, hey, this is how much data I'm using every month, what could I be getting? Or could I actually be getting more data for the same money that I'm currently paying? Turns out you can. They've recently done upgrades to everybody's plans offering more data, but you have to call to get it. So just take that. Well, it's going to be a few minutes because they're never fast on the phone, but always make sure that you're getting kind of all the bells and whistles that you should be. They don't automatically make any changes to plans, even when they roll out new versions, unless you're up for a new contract or you tell them to. So you have to do that homework and that legwork to get them to make those changes. Okay, I'm going to go back and we're going to hit Michelle's questions. And then anything else y'all have, feel free to stick it in the chat window. Y'all have been pretty quiet while I just went on chatting about bills, but feel free to ask questions too. So Michelle asked specifically about emails. Do I have any suggestions on meal planning? With 3 kids, it's very stressful trying to figure out what to have for dinner, and my 3-year-old twins are picky and I want them to eat healthy. In terms of emails, Michelle, personally, I've never used it. I do know them. I've seen their sample menus. My hesitation with them and why I don't use it is that emails technically, or they say that they base their shopping list and their menus off of what's on sale. So you tell them, I shop at Publix, and supposedly the menu is based off of what's on sale in Publix. But the hard part is that it's not always what's on sale. And so Southern Savers wise, I would tell you, you don't want to buy something unless it's 40% off or more. There are a lot of things in the weekly ad that aren't on sale. Just because they're in the weekly ad doesn't mean that we buy them. Emails wise, if it's in the weekly ad, it's fair game for them to put into your menu plans. So it's going to cost you a little bit more to make those meals than it normally would if I just bought the things that were on sale and stocked up on them. So be careful there. Not saying the menu plan isn't a great one. It could be wonderful, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the things that they put in it are the best prices right now. And you might actually be able to get a better price if you were to wait on those items. The meals themselves are very good options. The picky eater part, that's what worries me in terms of you paying for a meal service, because my fear is that you're going to get your menu plan and you're going to find your kids wouldn't have eaten half of it. I don't know what how you handle meals. In our house with a picky 2-year-old, I have a picky 7-year-old too. They know that if they want to be picky, nothing else is getting put in front of them. That was what was for dinner tonight. And they can move it around on their plates if they want, and they can go to bed and be hungry if they want, but this is dinner. Mom only fixes one meal. We have 5 kids. The idea of being a short order cook would make me lose my mind. I can't do that. Does it mean that everybody's happy for every meal? No. My 10-year-olds heard that tonight was spaghetti and we instantly had like, well, okay, if you want to grumble, you can go to bed too. This is what's for dinner. They always eat it, whether they grumble at first or not. They know the consequence and they don't like it. We have sent them to bed before just to show that we would do it. And then they'll come down in about 5 or 10 minutes. We leave their plate on the table. They come down in 5 or 10 minutes and apologize and say, can I please eat my dinner? And they always eat it. So I'm not saying that you haven't tried it, but I would encourage you to see what kind of emphasis you could put to end the picky eating. It costs money to be a picky eater too. So all around just doesn't work with our budgeting family. But in terms of menu planning for that, having someone else make your menus and not you make your menus, if you're not going to put your foot down on what they're eating, then you're going to find that most of what they offer you, your kids wouldn't touch, because they're fun menus. They're meals that most of us probably wouldn't fix on a normal basis. They're new and they're different, and that's why you're going to a menu planning service to help you with your meal plans. But it's new and different doesn't always work with picky 3-year-old twins either. So I would weigh that before I went diving in and spend a bunch of money on it. Let's see. Christina asks, what about prepaid plans? Are they just as good as monthly plans? So this is cell phone prepaid plans. They can be great. And some of them run on the same towers, Christina. So I would encourage you to look into the Walmart plans. I can't remember the official name of the Walmart plans, but they run on Verizon towers. So you head in and you get a really super cheap prepaid plan through Walmart, but you actually get really great service because it's running on one of the biggest networks in the country. That's a very good savings. So yes, looking into any of them. I did a post probably almost a year ago now. So the numbers will be a little different, but it's still going to show you kind of the breakdown between prepaid plans and regular plans. Let me see if I can find it really fast. And put it in chat for you. Yes. Okay. So this post, it is right at 11 months old, September of last year. But if you head to what I just put in the chat window again, I'll stick it up here too in the screen just so everyone can see it for a second. But it's comparing, oh, that doesn't work. Never mind. It's comparing smartphone data plans is all that I searched for in Google. But you can click on the link as well. And a year ago, to compare the Straight Talk plan at Walmart, $45 a month versus the cheapest plan outside of the Straight Talk plan would be T-Mobile at $50 a month. And again, this is all before taxes, but just, to at least consider the Straight Talk or Virgin kind of prepaid plans is definitely a money saver. Jennifer says, Kroger recently changed their coupon policy, but I can't find it. Do you know about any changes? I don't actually know of any changes to their policy. But I will put it in chat for you. So this is the link to Kroger's official coupon policy, Jennifer, and you can kind of go through and see what's different in it. Just skimming it, it's the exact same policy they've had for a long time. I don't really see any difference in what we've had recently. Now, some folks felt like one of the changes with Kroger was the electronic coupons that come off 5 times. This isn't a change. This has always worked this way, but folks have officially gotten an answer from Kroger on this, and so maybe this is what you heard. Kroger, maybe 4 or 5 times a year, runs a promotion or a sale with special e-coupons that come off 5 up to 5 of the same product. So if I bought Kraft cheese and I had $1 off Kraft cheese e-coupon, I could buy 5 things of Kraft cheese and the e-coupon comes off 5 times. Those e-coupons are really considered a store sale. And so I'm allowed to use them with manufacturer's coupons. Now, that was a pretend example, so don't go trying to find this Kraft cheese coupon. And this always baffles people, always sends the comments on the Kroger list into just tumult, because people know that you cannot use an e-coupon with a paper coupon. But these aren't considered e-coupons. They're really considered store sales or promotions. I am still allowed a paper coupon with them. The register still allows both to be used. Where a normal e-coupon, the register will always stop. If you try to use a paper coupon, it will not let you use both. It is smarter than you. It will catch them. But these 5-time e-coupons, it knows to let the paper go through. It's not a change in their policy, but that's the only thing that I've seen recently come out in terms of what folks have been chatting about anyway, is that Kroger did officially kind of give response that yes, this is acceptable and this is allowed. And you'll notice on the Southern Savers list for Kroger that we always match in the 5-time use e-coupons and paper coupons together, because it's allowed you to do that for years at the register. If you've heard of anything else, though, put it in chat, and I'll definitely go digging and try to find out an answer for you before next week. But to my knowledge, there haven't been any other changes in the Kroger e-coupon policy. Okay, I see some folks typing. So as you guys work on your questions, one more thing that we can talk about bill-wise is insurance. It's a monthly bill. You have to have it. Can't go without car insurance or house insurance or life insurance. It's also another good one that a lot of people don't get when money is tight, but is still a good thing to have. So to start with all 3 of them, they should also be renegotiated on a regular basis, calling around, making sure that we have the best rates and making sure that we have all of the discounts that are available. And there are some discounts that are regularly missed. Actually have a friend who works for State Farm, and I asked him to send us some of the discounts that are regularly missed, and he gave them to us and we stuck them in a post. And then State Farm emailed and said that we must take them down. So I feel really bad that I almost made him lose his job. He didn't know that he wasn't allowed to share. But there are definitely some discounts out there, and we should all be making sure that we're taking advantage of them, asking your agents, what else can you give me? Some of those, just to give you some tips that I would recommend. If you ever get a fire extinguisher, asking, if I keep a fire extinguisher in my kitchen, can I get a discount? Most of them give you that. A discount for a home alarm system and having it monitored. That's off of your monthly bill. I'm not going to say it's going to equal the amount of your monthly monitoring, because it usually doesn't. But it does help to cover if you live in an area where you just feel more comfortable having a home monitoring system. It's at least helping to cover the cost a little bit. Line item discounts, multi-line, we all kind of know about that one. Anything along those lines, checking with them to find out. With car insurance, if you have towing, if you have all of that, you don't have to have that on your policy. You can ask them to remove it. It's just an added cost. Also be careful, because some insurances will charge you as a claim if you do use the towing. And if they view the towing as a claim, you would actually be better off having AAA, which again, you're almost having like insurance, because now if I need towing, there's no claim there. AAA just handles the towing the same way that State Farm would have, but it's not going to affect my insurance at all. So just find out how they handle towing. If they charge it as a claim, then tell them you don't want it. Tell them that's cool, take it off the policy. I don't want to pay for it every month, and get a really cheap version of AAA or some other roadside assistance. Another one with car insurance too is obvious, and house insurance, is deductibles. I don't want you to have a deductible so high that you can't handle it if you got into trouble, but the higher the deductible, the cheaper the insurance. And that's just because it's less risk out of their pocket. But also making sure that I have, drivers situated on the best cars. Do I have the highest risk driver in the highest insured car? Because that's probably not the best way to handle it. And you can find an agent that's willing to, make some changes for you so that you're saving on all of those aspects, moving drivers around from car to car, if that's required as well. Doesn't mean that they, have to do all the driving in there, but they will give you the fine breakdown of what they mean when you are reassigning drivers on cars. If you don't drive your car very much, you work from home, you only drive to the grocery store and back, then asking them if they have a low mileage per year discount. Most of them do, but they don't like to mention it. You will have to give them proof that you're doing low mileage, but just kind of figuring all of that out. Those are some of the ones that I would, encourage you to have them see if they would work for your plan. Again, calling around to, we don't have our cars covered by the same company that covers our house, because the last time I called around, no one could touch Liberty Mutual's rates for car insurance. So we pay half of what we were paying with State Farm, switching to Liberty Mutual. Am I attached? No, I would gladly switch back to someone else if they could touch the rates that we had, and do a better job, or, whatever. You have to keep calling around. So sadly, loyalty only hurts you. And I'm sorry if you're an insurance agent, but it's the truth. And that's the truth with anything. If I am stuck in a rut and I'm not willing to make those phone calls, then I'm the one choosing to pay more when someone else might have a much cheaper plan. Now, I'm not telling you to call like A1A Insurance. You'll get what you pay for. You want to stick with a big name company that has good ratings, that has good insurance levels, that can pay the bill, and good reviews too. Check them out with the Better Business Bureau. Check out what other people are saying about them. Are they paying the claims that they're seeing? Are they trying to get out of the claims? We don't want to be stuck in a rough situation with insurance either. But just so you've done all of your homework with your home insurance, do your homework as to what it covers before you dive in and feel really, really set and pay a bunch of money to have something in particular. We learned the hard way with the second house that we owned that they don't cover slow leaks. And this was a massive one for us, but our master bathroom shower pan had a leak in it. It was on the second floor. That shower pan leaked slowly until we knew about it. Finally, when water started coming through the ceiling in the downstairs living room, but it had been happening for months. Because it did not happen immediately, it was not covered on our home insurance. Does not cover slow leaks. So we were out all the money to fix that ourselves. But you still have to fix it, because once you tell them that something happened, they require you to fix it. You got to love that. So finding out what all they cover is helpful too. The same with home warranties. Don't go diving into home warranties if you buy a new house, because they don't really cover everything either. There's a lot of things that they will not cover. You just think you're good. Okay, so going back, Danny's comment on Verizon. We can't get Verizon that well here and only get a service with US Cellular. A year ago, we signed a 2-year contract with new phones, and they lied to us saying that we had to sign a new contract, so now we're stuck for another year, and you can only do talk and text. So Danny, what I would encourage you to do, though, even in that situation, is if you're still able to have other providers, and I don't know if anything has come in your area, but if you still have, if you have the ability now to either do, T-Mobile or Sprint or AT&T, most of them will buy you out of the current contract that you're in. So if other providers have good service, that is something to look at. If you're stuck in US Cellular, or you feel like you're stuck in US Cellular, you might not actually be researching who else is in your market and seeing if they're currently offering a contract buyout. They don't have contracts, so you're moving to T-Mobile and AT&T. They're giving you, $300 off of your first few bills to do that. But I'm now out of the US Cellular completely. Might be worth it if they're in your area. And Danny, you said your wife went to Kroger the week before last and used e-coupons and paper coupons, and it worked fine. Yes, 2 weeks ago they were running the 5 times e-coupon promotion. So it's on those particular weeks. They just ended it. This week it was over. The week that ends tomorrow night This week did not have that promotion, but the week before that and the week before that, they always run them for 2 weeks long. So that would be 3 weeks ago and 2 weeks ago, that promotion's been running. We'll probably see it come back about every 6 weeks. It's typically what they run, 6 to 10. For prepaid phones, which is the best option? My husband works in a large factory, so we're scared to go prepaid and him lose his phone and data service. You're going to have to call around just to see what is out there in your area. But the big ones are Virgin and Walmart systems. So with those, most phone companies have on their website where you can put in your zip code or even your home address, and they'll show you what your service would be, whether it's, excellent, fair, poor, in a little green color grid as to where your house sits. So you could plug in his work, you could plug in where he's going, making sure that he has good service on each of those companies. But also the prepaid ones as well. You wouldn't be out anything other than if you had to get a new phone. And that's the tricky part with switching to prepaid, is that if you have, like I have an iPhone, but it's a Verizon iPhone. So it's making sure I have a phone that's unlocked to work with other towers and with other service plans. I wouldn't want you to have to spend money on a phone just to find out that it didn't work. So if he is in a large factory, the first thing I would ask him to do is to ask other folks that he works with, hey, who's your provider? Hey, who's your, like a little 5-year-old taking a poll as to what's your favorite color, doing the same thing just so he can see what folks are mentioning and asking them, what's your service like inside? That's your best homework, is just asking the people that are around him before you go and do any kind of buying. Is it a good idea to go through really like a third-party insurance company like Xander? You've got Esurance, you have all kinds of them, and letting them find the best rate for you. They're going to say yes. Keep in mind that third-party insurance vendors make money somewhere, and they make money usually through commission and taking a cut. So I just need to be careful there that the rates aren't being increased by them doing the legwork for you. If you feel like the rates are fair that they're giving you, the rates are lower than what you're currently paying, then great. But if you're not happy with the rates that they're giving you, you're not tied to using their rates. For instance, it's a separate example, but still in the same category. A few years ago, we were looking at getting group health insurance for me and one other person. You can have tiny groups. And this was before all of the Affordable Care Act came out, and you needed to be in a group if you wanted to have pre-existing conditions covered. Pre-existing conditions don't exist anymore, so groups really are a moot point. You don't need to be in a group, but at the time you did. I went through an insurance broker to find rates. They gave me rates for Blue Cross Blue Shield of South Carolina. It's the biggest insurer in our state. I then called Blue Cross Blue Shield of South Carolina and worked directly with one of their salespeople. The rates through the insurance broker were about $100 more a month than going directly through Blue Cross Blue Shield. Now, they told me that that wouldn't happen. The rates would be the lowest. What Blue Cross Blue Shield was going to give them the same rate that they would have given me if I went directly through, but that doesn't work. Someone has to pay you somehow. And it only took me 10 minutes extra to get another quote to find out that I was the one that was really paying for that service. So I learned that the hard way. And because of that, I don't use third parties anymore to do that hunting unless you have a way to verify that you're not paying more. And I would just do some legwork on the rates that they're giving you just to make sure. If they're the same, then go with it. Okay, so Jennifer's got a question on CVS. There's a hidden deal for anyone that's listening and you want to go tearing out. It's not going to work tomorrow because this is how it will. The corporate office, when they see these pop up and they see them go out on the web, they quickly change them. But CVS has an advertised deal that you buy any 2 Tums and you get a $5 extra care buck. And folks found that the little tiny 12 count single rolls were $1.49, that you bought 2 of them and you made money. And there was a limit of 3, so you could actually buy 6 of them and you made $6. They've now changed the single roll prices. They've doubled the price of the single roll. You gotta love that. The manager will not give me a rain check or honor the rain check for that amount. And I showed her the screenshot of the sale items, the items that I wanted, and what should I do. Jennifer, the manager actually can't. So it's really an error on corporate's part. And when they catch these errors, and they always have to catch them the hard way after they've been cleaned out, they try to do everything they can to undo the error. It's not their intention to pay you $6 to buy Tums in their store. So if they, from corporate, make changes on that, then the managers have to comply with those changes. If the manager gave you a rain check, the way that CVS rain checks work, and I don't have one right here with me, but if you were looking at the rain check, it's this little paper out this big, in the middle of the rain check is an event number, and that event number is going to pull up everything that was part of the sale, but it's also going to pull up all of the prices. So the manager, to be able to do a rain check for a different price than the computer is going to pull up, it wouldn't work. It would only work if the manager was there to key in a different price when you came back with the rain check. And who knows that that particular manager would be there to even remember that situation. So they can't do a specific price. They can only do things with the event code. And that's CVS Corporate's way to kind of make sure that nobody is circumventing the rain check system with false prices or false sales. It's only going to key in what the computer knows to be the participating items and to be the sale price of those participating items using that event code number. And the event codes are in the weekly ad. So if you went and you found Tums in the weekly ad, you would find, I think it's like an 8 or a 9-digit number underneath the Tums. And that's what's keying in for the computer to know, okay, this is the sale. These were all the participating items, and this was the cost of all of those participating items. So they've now changed the price of the single rolls so that folks won't make $6 in profit. It still comes out, it's 49 cents a roll after the sale versus the $1.49 that it was regularly. So I guess if that's what you wanted, it's still a savings, but it's not the money maker because it wasn't their intention. You'll see this a couple times a year at CVS. You see it actually a lot more frequently in Walgreens. CVS usually does a really good job of not letting things slip through, but when they do, they fix them fast. They never last longer than Monday, and they're always fixed by Tuesday morning. And it's my goal to not share them, so you won't ever see them on Southern Savers when they pop up, only because they only last for a day. They're gone, stores are wiped out, and stores are really grumpy about it by the end of the day. Nan has a savings for insurance. A military veteran, we joined USAA. Their insurance rates are more affordable than some of the larger companies. We also have life, vehicle, home, et cetera, through them. AARP offers seniors lots of discounts as well. And their membership fee is only $16 for the year for myself and my husband. So that's a great tip, is to join a group, which is what USAA is, and AARP for that matter too, is the same kind of situation. You're joining a group to try to get a discount with a group on insurance. So we do this for our life insurance. My husband is part of IEEE, which is I don't even know what it stands for, but it's Electrical Engineering Society. And anyone that works in any kind of technology can be a part of IEEE. You may actually find that you are eligible too. It's pretty broad, their definition. But being part of IEEE gives us access to their group life insurance, which is an incredible price compared to regular prices on life insurance. So we can have pretty high coverage of life insurance. We pay $36 a month. That same coverage, and that's for the whole family. That's my husband, myself, and $10,000 in coverage on each child. That same coverage would cost probably twice, if not 3 times that, just through the open market, not in a group. So anytime that you can join some type of group savings, whether it's any kind of work association or the USAA for military veterans, AARP, they're all going to give you a discount because you're pooling the savings through the group. Does downloading Java expose you to malware? I need Java to print coupons from SmartSource. You actually need Java to print from a lot of folks. It doesn't. There was a Java weakness. It was probably almost 3 years ago now. That has long been fixed. You want to make sure you have the latest version of Java, so it does update from time to time, as do all computer programs. So if you ever find, you download it now, you start printing through SmartSource, and you find that you start to have issues, then head to java.com and make sure you have the latest version. It'll tell you as soon as you get there, oh, you're running an outdated version of Java, and download a new one, but you're not going to have any issues. So SmartSource has been giving trouble printing, tells me error messages that it doesn't support my browser, but I haven't changed browsers. So Chandra, I actually wrote a post on this last week because somebody was very upset about issues printing with SmartSource, and tried to give some detailed ways. So I will put that in chat. Gotta find the link for you. But the first thing that I will guess is happening is that you may be on Chrome or an old version of Internet Explorer. So check out that post that I just put in chat for a lot of details on ways to help you with printing. The Chrome browsers are currently not supported with SmartSource or, sorry, or coupons.com. Chrome made an update in Chrome version 42, which auto downloads. So you may not even realize that you have Chrome version 42. Sorry. Chrome updates itself every time you reload the browser. Chrome 42 does not play well with plugins anymore, which is what the SmartSource download and the coupons.com download are. So they're trying to get it to work with Chrome, but it's not currently working with Chrome. So you'll need to print SmartSource through another browser, and I would highly recommend Firefox. I have no issues printing with an updated version of Java in Firefox, and printed some this morning. So try that and see if that will work, and try those other tips that I put in that post that I put in chat as well. So Amy has a question. To save on your power bill, you can reduce the energy of your fridge by keeping a big container of water in the back. Is this true? And what are some other ways to save on your power bill? So Amy, that is definitely, it can be water or anything, but to save money on any kind of fridge or freezer. So let's say you go out and you buy a new chest freezer for the garage, but you don't have anything to put in it. That's gonna cost you a lot of money. So the best thing you can do for yourself, if your freezer is not full, is to take empty milk gallons, fill them with water, and freeze them. Having that solid block of ice in the freezer inside the milk gallon, I can take it out at any point. It's no value to me, but it's helping to keep the freezer cold without the freezer having to run constantly to do that. If you have your indoor fridge freezer, whether it's a side-by-side or a top-bottom, however you have it, most folks don't realize this, but the refrigerated part of your refrigerator freezer is actually kept cold from your freezer. So your fridge freezer usually only has one cooling area, and it then sends the extra cold air to the refrigerator. So if my inside freezer is also not full all the way, then that's making it have to work even harder to keep my refrigerator cold. If my refrigerator is super empty, it's gonna work the same way. So yes, filling your refrigerator. So thereby you could, if we wanna take this a whole step further, tell your husband that you're saving money by not cleaning out the refrigerator. How great is that? But yes, the more full it is, the more efficient it is, because it's all in theory cold, and it's helping to keep everything else cold without power having to run to do it. Other ways to save on your power bill: turning your AC up and down with the season, using a thermostat that is a programmable thermostat, and you'll even find that power companies will give you discounts if you buy one. That's one of the options that's currently available in South Carolina. If you don't have a programmable thermostat, they'll actually give you a discount off your power bill if you buy one, and you send them the receipt showing that you've installed a programmable thermostat. Replacing your air filters regularly for your air units is a big money saver. Folks don't think about it, but it reduces the drag on the air conditioner to get fresh air through it. Not only helps your air conditioner, but it does help your utility bill as well. And then insulating, proper insulation is probably the biggest one and the biggest way to save on your power bill, because it's heating and cooling are the largest costs for you. Lights are some, but lights are pennies. They add up, but making sure you're on, the newest versions of light bulbs helps a little too. But heating and cooling is the most. And the way that lights are adding up the most for you is by heating, and then you're having to recool. So keeping lights on in a room puts out heat. To keep those lights on, you're going to have to cool to counteract that heat. Curtains in the summer are helping. We live in a house out in the woods, and we didn't want curtains, but that costs us to not have curtains because we have the sun coming through. The sun is heating. We're trying to cool. So anything that's not fighting this, whatever it is that you're trying to do, curtains also help you in the winter by holding in air. So making sure we have good curtains. Blinds don't count there. Blinds don't actually hold in that much. They're filled with holes all the way through them. So curtains over the blinds are a big money saver. And again, I mentioned it earlier, but getting the film, you can grab this on Amazon or any of your hardware stores come wintertime. You wouldn't want to put this on in summertime, but the film that you put over the window casement, and it seals with a hair dryer. It puts it's almost like, so here's my window and here's my film, and I have this gap of air in between. That gap of air actually becomes an insulation for us, and we will lose less heat through the window. So look into those if you can, if you need that, if you've got an old home or old windows. So Nan is saying that even a few months ago, she called around and everyone was very receptive to the idea of a senior discount on the monthly bill as well. So while you're calling and asking what kinds of discounts and promotions they're running, if you are eligible for senior discounts, throwing that in, that's a great tip. Thanks, Dan. Is there a better way to find out about closeout deals on buy low? I hate that I missed the toilet tissue deal last week. By the time I made it to the store after the post, everything was gone. So Teray, if you found out about it from Friday Finals, I actually share all of those deals in the buy low unadvertised list. So that Charmin closeout deal was in the buy low unadvertised list that went up on when I walk it on Wednesday. It goes up on Thursday mornings. So watching for that list to go up. Buy low unadvertised, Publix unadvertised, always share those on Thursdays and grabbing them then versus waiting for Friday Finals, where I shared how we kind of went a little crazy on the toilet paper. I went out on Friday though and bought more, and there are still some buy lows in town, since I know you live where I live, that do have it. So I don't know how close you are to Main Street, but there is a buy low on Main Street where Monticello Road hits Main Street that still had Charmin toilet paper and still had a ton of it on Friday. So you could try. My guess though, after tomorrow, that if it isn't gone, it won't be on sale anymore because it's in the new buy low ad, the same exact sizes for $8.88. So I like the $5 mark versus the $8.88 mark, but I don't think that they'll keep it on closeout and have it in the weekly ad on sale. So if you can't find it by tomorrow, don't keep looking. Is there an easier way to use Ibotta? It's a big pain to sit and have to watch videos to unlock rebates. Jennifer, I kind of agree. Ibotta actually is not on my good list right now. They're kind of sort of annoying to me as a company. There is not an easier way to use Ibotta. They're the only app that requires you to jump through those hoops and take polls and learn facts and watch videos. I will tell you, you don't actually have to watch them. I mean, you need to keep your phone up, but I will hit the button and watch the video, and I'm off surfing the internet while the video is playing. I see the video has ended and I come back. So, who knows? Maybe Ibotta corporate will hear that and realize that nobody watches their videos. But you have to do them. I wish that you didn't, but you do. If you're super frustrated about it, I would encourage you to make sure you're checking out the other ones. So check out 51, Shop Me MobiSave. MobiSave has a waiting period that's about 4 weeks long. So if you haven't already applied to be part of MobiSave, do that. But those are some great programs too. Ibotta has a ton of offers, which is why people stick around and deal with the frustration. But the other companies are much easier to work with. No videos and you're done in terms of all your rebates. I also, if you want to know another frustration for me with Ibotta, I don't like that so many of them only work at certain stores, and I have to keep tabs on what stores they do and what stores they don't work at. Nobody else does that either. If they have the offer pretty much works everywhere, and that just makes me happy. But that's just my Ibotta venting for the night. Wish I could help you though with happier news for Ibotta. Just know that it frustrates a lot of us. Rita, I'm going to answer your question last since we're right at the 9:30 mark. So how do I think Food City compares to Bilo? There's really no comparison there at all, Rita. Food City does not double coupons. Bilo does. Food City does not take competitor coupons. Bilo does. Food City does have a gas program, but Bilo's is better. Food City has some buy one, get ones, but Bilo will have hundreds of buy one, get ones. Between the two, Bilo, hands down, is the better grocery store to be in. There will be some things that Food City will be cheaper on, and usually that's going to be meat and produce. Not all the time there either, but usually the smaller a grocery store chain, the better their deals on meat and produce. So if you live in a town that has an IGA can have some great meat and produce deals. We went on vacation a couple weeks ago to the Savannah area to visit some family, and went to an IGA on Tybee Island, which you're thinking, wow, this is vacation mecca. You should not use the grocery store on a little tiny island. No, all the other prices were horrible, but their meat prices were crazy. There was a line 4 people deep just to get fresh shrimp, because fresh caught shrimp from the Georgia coast right there was $7.99 a pound. That's an incredible price for fresh shrimp. Done. But the smaller the grocery store, the better the meat and produce prices, because they don't have the incentive of major manufacturers. So anytime you have that little tiny grocery store, always head in and see what you can get there, and then head to the big grocery store for everything else. Okay, well, we are not going to have a hangout next week, so make sure, I hope that y'all hear me before you sign off on that one, and I'll put that on the site too. Next week's Labor Day, so stay home, watch football, have fun, but we'll be back and have a hangout the Monday after that, and I hope you enjoy your 3-day weekend. I don't know what we're going to talk about in 2 weeks, but it'll be your questions, so bring your questions, and I will see you in 2 weeks at 8:30. You'll have a good rest of your night.